Welcome everyone to another special show we have for you tonight. I am Graveyard, joined as always with my off-screen producer Salem. Make sure to say hi to Salem in chat. He likes talking to each and every one of you. And before we bring on our guests, I just have to shout out, and I'll be making a post relatively soon here. We do have new merch, including our Perry shirt, which is us in the vent for They Mostly, Pilot Night Mostly, with Newt on the shirt. So if you want to get that one of those shirts, just send us a message. We'll send it over to you. It's about $20 for, and it's including ship, so hit us up. Now, without further ado, I'm excited due to a cancellation we had. This gentleman was able to step up here and volunteer to be tribute tonight on Conversations in the Void. He is actor, voice actor, writer, producer with works including Virus, Amityville Shark House, and upcoming Earth versus Werewolves from Mars. Please welcome to the show, Troy Oelke.
How you doing?
Good. How are you doing tonight?
Doing well, thank you.
Thank you again for jumping on last minute here for coming on to the show just to fill
You
in.
bet.
And I can't wait to see what you guys have coming up and as we get into this. And when you get your movie going, you're more than welcome back anytime you want.
Excellent.
But let's get into some of these warm questions, get to know Troy a little bit and his background of horror, right? So do you recall the first horror movie that you saw?
In the theater?
Or overall?
Well, okay, so I grew up a monsters kid. Like, I mean, Creature from the Black Lagoon, all the Universals, and any of that stuff. But when I was a kid, I was about 8 years old, and my parents would let me stay up late to watch Siskel and Ebert with them. And of course, I didn't really care much about Siskel and Ebert. I was getting to stay up late,
Right.
So one of the things they did there is they showed like 10 minutes of John Carpenter's Halloween.
Ooh.
And this was my shift from Creature from the Black Lagoon, and these kind of sci-fi. Huge Godzilla fan, Toho, into the slasher genre, and so they showed 10 minutes or so, and it was when he chased her into the closet, and then he broke into the closet, and she stabbed him, and she's standing in the doorway, and then he sits up, and I nearly shit a cat right there, just fucking, and I'm just like, oh my God. And I fell in love with horror movies at that very moment. So, just a few years later, one of the kids down the street who I used to hang out with, and he had a sister. Now, I don't remember if it was the early years of HBO or if it was some sort of early years of VHS or what. But in any case, they had Friday the 13th Part 1 and 2. And so I hadn't seen Halloween from beginning to end. I had only seen that chunk of it, until this
Right.
time. Then we watched 1 and 2, and I fell in love with it. And I had to have my uncle take me. I begged him to take me to see Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D in the theater.
Oh, nice.
And so he took me on opening night. And I remember going in because Creature from the Black Lagoon and a lot of the Universal monster movies, you could go to your local store every once in a while, like go down to 7-Eleven and pick up your 3D glasses and watch, this weekend.
Right.
And so they hand you your 3D glasses and they're clear. And it wasn't red and blue, red and green. They weren't different colors. It was some special new 3D, and it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. But I've seen every Friday the 13th movie on opening night since.
Oh, wow. That's impressive. I think I've only seen, pretty sure I saw Jason X in theaters, and I saw the 2010 remake as well. And Freddy vs. Jason, of course, because that's a perfect movie in my opinion. Yeah, I mean that's great stuff. I remember getting 3D glasses. I have a 3D TV that I bought like 14 years ago, and like when Friday the 13th came out in 3D, you're able to do it. And they had the glasses, but I also had the special glasses as well to
You had
pop
the
it
box
out.
that hooked up to your TV and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome. I think 3D at that point in time was amazing, and just you can tell it was made for 3D.
right.
As opposed to today, now we just joke about on our shows that like, oh, it's just the blood is now just pink for 3D movies. Like Saw 3D was pink blood for
Huh.
whatever reason, you know.
Hmm.
So, in your opinion, though, you're growing up with the slashes like that. Do you think there's ever a underrated horror movie or IP or franchise that you can go to say, someone's like, I've never seen X, or I, what movie would you suggest to us? What would be your suggestion?
Well, okay. I'll start with one that I love. Is a B-rated. It's a B flick, but it's called Scarecrows,
Hmm.
in 1988, and I absolutely love this flick. There's so much going for it. I heard rumblings of a possible remake, and there's a lot to do here. But yeah, basically a group. I don't know, it's 4 or 5 guys and a girl, and they're all SWAT, night vision, all the
Hmm.
weapons, everything, and they basically rob some kind of a Fort Knox type thing. And they hijack a cargo plane flown by a father and daughter heading for Mexico. One of the guys kicks the money out and jumps out and tries to screw everybody over. And he lands on a farm with these fucking scarecrows that are all crucified. It's so amazing. It's a slow burn, but they have a lot of talking through the headsets. Now we're coming to
Right.
get you, Bert, you motherfucker. You know, and it's a great movie. The effects are phenomenal. Yeah, the deaths and shit are cool. It's a slow burn, but it's really creepy and cool, and I loved it. But Just Before Dawn has been one of my favorite, kind of underrated. I mean, it's got fucking George Kennedy in it,
Right.
and Andrew Stevens, I think, and Chris Lemon. I really enjoyed that one. I thought that was a really good movie. Um, yeah,
Now,
there's
did you watch the recent Scarecrow horror movie, Dark Harvest, that came out like a year or two ago?
no, I don't think I saw that one.
It's interesting. I just because I was thinking, I've seen the Scarecrows, and it's on my wish list of laser discs to get of horror movies, just
Mm,
because the cover looks amazing. It's been a very long time since I've seen it, and I happen to help write a movie about uh, something that stalks in the cornfields just this past 2 months. So,
nice, very
so yeah.
nice.
Now, on the flip side, what do you think is the most overrated horror IP movie franchise it may be that just go, how'd this make $1 billion? Let's say.
Man, the Annabelles.
Yeah.
Um, Not crazy about them. I think it's just because it's just been so overdone, and that you do too many jump scares. They're not scary anymore. Um, that's kind of a tough one.
Mm,
Saw. I like Saw, the creativity, all that, for about 3 movies.
right.
And then it's just kind of, and I know that there's a lot of Saw fans out there, man. I don't blame anybody, but who are like, no, no, you see in the sixth one, it went back to refer to the third one, and then it was this guy's daughter that saved the. And I'm just like, yeah, but it's the same movie, so I'm okay
Yeah.
with you liking it, but it's just not one of my favorites.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. In the Annabelle and the Conjuring universe, the 9 movies that are there that have grossed like $2 billion, with like I always joke about this, like 3 or 4 deaths that happen in 9 movies.
Right.
I don't care for them, but you know what? I'm not gonna yuck anyone's yum. If that's what you like, that's what you like.
That's
You
it.
know, like my wife only watched the first Saw movie. The rest just become the gore fests.
Right.
So awesome. Like I said, I always like to hear, especially people's underrated stuff, to go, you know what? I haven't seen that movie, or I haven't watched it in a long, long time.
Uh, you ever seen Galaxy of Terror?
It's I believe so. It's probably been forever though. I went
Th-
through in like late 90s and just went rented like everything I possibly could ever find.
3 words: maggot
Hmm.
rape scene.
Yes.
A giant maggot rapes a woman. It's pretty bizarre.
Yeah. All right, but let's get into you, Troy, and your work that you're currently doing. And you have an impressive list of acting and voice acting. Like I said, I had got a chance to watch the Killer Christmas movie, number two, with that. So how did you get into the world of indie horror as a whole?
Well, actually, I became friends with, I was telling you, I watched every single Friday the 13th
Hmm.
on opening night since part three.
Yeah.
And I will continue to do so as long as I can. Well, I have the pleasure now of working with one of the people that I watched on screen, having no idea that many years later I would be working with her. But um, Deborah Voorhees ended up 13 Fanboy was a movie she did,
Hmm.
and it was about someone stalking the actual actors and actresses of the 13th or Friday the 13th franchise. And we were friends for a while on through her group, and did a bunch of little videos and stuff for her and with her, and she had a voice, kind of a voice contest type thing, and
Yeah.
so I ended up getting the part, and got just kicked off from there, and I started doing tons of it, like a lot of goofy shit, really, really goofy shit, and then even up to some higher movies, like I've done voice work obviously with that Ed Kane Hodder and Dee Wallace, and
Hmm.
a ton of people, and then all the way down to just some. I played an alien Nazi marshmallow. So I just I enjoy it so much that I pretty much do anything and everything in between. Right now I'm spending the majority of my time directing, and I love it. It's a lot of work, but we're
Yeah.
putting something together here. So
Yeah. So we have a question. Werewolves from Mars have been fully financed. How's production coming along on that?
really well, actually, we are scheduling the last of our principal shots, and then we're getting close to post,
Yeah.
which is fun. I've been kind of editing mostly along the way, general edit, and so I should be pretty prepared once I get the last of the footage to line everything up and rock and roll.
Awesome. So, what was it like for you to take that leap from acting and voice acting and producing to then writing and directing your own stuff?
Um, you know, well, I've learned a ton, but it was kind of natural for me just because I've kind of been doing it on my own for a billion years, and I've been
Hmm.
on set a bunch. I do featured background acting around here. I was found myself with three other people in the woods, and one of them was Nicolas Cage. And I worked with Damon Wayans Jr. and Brianna Hildebrand from Deadpool, and now the girl that is the Black Adam's girlfriend, the female lead, and then the girl that was the lead in Fear Street.
Ah, that's an
Uh,
excellent trilogy too.
yes, I enjoyed that one quite a bit. But yeah, so I started just kind of, I've been on set and everything, and then I have like 800 skits. I do skit videos, just like ridiculous, ridiculous shit, and goofy dad joke kind of shit, and
Right.
so now I have other people to do it. So I don't have. I mean, I play everybody in all my videos. I'm the old lady on the subway. I'm it's finally I can get an old lady to play the old lady on the subway, and it's quite a bit of a difference.
Right. So, did you have any, with what you're doing with Werewolves from Mars, any caveats or hardest things to shoot for you that you found like, oh, I wish I had known this kind of ahead of time before doing it?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, well, it's not even that much. So my partner and producer, Deborah from I was telling you about part five.
Hmm.
She drove over from New Mexico and brought me all the equipment, and she schooled us all on how to use it, and just everything from head to toe. And but it's I've made mistakes. I mean, and learned from them. I'm casting. I'm uh, location scout. I'm directing. I'm
Hmm.
producing. I'm doing voice work in it. I'm acting in it. I'm doing special effects. I'm doing costumes. I'm doing catering. I'm doing, it's just like, I got a lot of hats on, man. I'm like, fuck,
Right.
I can't wait. So now finally I'm meeting people along the way too, that I'm handing off a couple of these hats to, and we're getting a pretty good crew together, and very happy about that, because when I'm done making this movie, I just want to make another one.
Yeah, I myself have found the bug has bitten me too. About a year or so ago, I got introduced to some people in the independent horror world, and they're like, "Hey, you should come out to this shoot we're doing." And I go, "Okay." I drive middle of Illinois. They're like, "Yeah, let's just go into this farm till about 3 a.m." I go, "All right, cool. Never met you guys. Let's go do
Yep,
this."
yep.
It's just been amazing. You always talk about like the independent horror movies in the 70s and 80s and 90s, that it was just kind of like everyone did anything needed to make the film happen. So you wore all the hats. And working in this now for a little over a year and starting to write and direct too, I see that, and I think it's a very close knit family community. And when you build that team, it's immeasurable, I think.
Well, it really is. I personally like to let the actors kind of act,
Hmm.
um, because you find that there's just certain things that come out of them naturally, or you know what I mean. You're like, oh, I
Right.
wasn't even thinking that. And but you know, if everybody sucks, you know, everybody has a bad attitude, your film's not going to do very well. And so when everybody is just an important link in the whole chain, and everybody working together and making sure everybody's happy and treated correctly. And I got to tell you, my actors not only just love them, phenomenal, but they work their asses off. We were standing outside, until the sun came up and the birds were chirping, so we had to stop filming, and we started the
Mm.
night before. And so, uh, but nobody complained, and we got a lot of stuff done. But yeah, I learned a lot. And then there's just simple goofy mistakes like, oh man, I got this shot. Oh man, is that the C stand right behind him? Son of a bitch! I was
Yep.
so focused on him, I didn't see that. You know, but no, it's been a lot of fun, and I've been told by a couple of different people from the industry, that yeah, you're getting a $250,000 USC film school education right now, and just jump in the fire and go with it. And it's funny too, because when you do things, or if you make a little mistake, and because I'm editing too, which really helps me. But then I start to realize, oh, that's what they were talking about when they said, don't do this or don't do that. Now it's all of a sudden like, oh, it makes sense now. Okay.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I can't spoil anything. The movie isn't done yet, but I was in makeup for 7 hours, like
oh God.
just a bloody mess.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there, I'm ADing from the ground, trying to, like, when this, it's not on, cameras aren't on me, have the script in the hand, laying to say continuity is there. It's just amazing the work that people are able to do to put out a movie. Because I think anyone who can make a movie, it's an accomplishment in itself.
Well, I know it is funny when you look over and you see someone like laying on their back in the dirt at 3 a.m. and next to a creek in the mountains, and you're thinking, normally you probably wouldn't be doing that, if we weren't here making a movie. And,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
it's awesome though, just seeing all of it come together, and everybody's hard work.
Right. And from the chat, what do you prefer? Do you prefer being behind the lens or in front of it?
While I do enjoy being in front of the camera, I am finding that yeah, behind the lens is really where I'm happy because I always did things myself, and now I'm like, you do, I've got people to do it, and I've got a lot of ideas, and I got a lot of and just having people to play with me is amazing, is
Right.
amazing. So
Now, did you
uh,
ever do anything with writing and directing or creating, before all this world? Did you do it in high school or anything like that?
I wrote some short stories as a kid, nothing that probably would have passed English class. Um, nothing official, but I did wrote. I got one of those books when I was a kid. It was just empty with the lines in it, so I filled it. Um, and but no, after that, I've just been kind of making videos off and on, little skits with my kids. Like instead of reading them a story before we went to bed, every night we would make a story, a horror movie.
Oh,
And they die by chicken salad or whatever, but we would make these little movies, and then I would edit them, and the next night we would watch them, whatever. We'd make horror movies all the time, and plus we would use it to show them that the shit they're seeing on TV isn't real. Here's how
right.
they do it, and the realer we can make it look, maybe we can scare mom, and or whatever, and how good the guys are on TV. That's why it looks real and so on. But
Right.
yeah, we used to do that was our bedtime thing, was doing little horror skits. Um, and yeah, Daddy, There's a Monster in My Closet was one of our first ones. We had one called Catastrophic, which I had a cat, and then I just happened to get a stuffed animal that looked just like him. So of course we fucked that thing up, ran it over, flinged it, shot it, whatever.
Right.
And but yeah, no, just until about well, I guess really when I got my first iPhone, because this shit I was doing, man, I had two VCRs. I was editing between two VCRs
Oh, wow.
and using camcorders with little tapes in them and shit until
Hmm.
about I have the worst sense of time in the world, so I'm going to say 5 years ago. So it was probably 10. But somewhere around there, when I got my first iPhone, and it was incredibly simple to record and edit at
Hmm.
a regular, at a regular pace. So I started making tons of videos then, and just never turned around, and uh, started putting myself in movies. Like I've got a whole. It's called Sicko. It's on my Spam Chuckers Castle is the YouTube name, and under the best of Spam Chuckers, there's a Sicko, the complete Troyology. But I put myself in Psycho,
Okay.
and I play both. I do the shower scene where I die in the shower. I'm the mom, or Norman. I play the dead mom,
Hmm.
but and I kind of mix it in the movie, just stupid shit like that.
And that's awesome because that creativity and love is that's why I love doing this show is talking to people like yourself because I grew up doing the same stuff, right? And in high school, I did theater and drama for 4 years. And towards my senior year, I realized I like being behind the camera, writing and directing a lot more, just because I can't really act so well. But for me, it's just fun to see people act out and just sit there. I'll play the dead body on the stage in my own stuff. I'm absolutely okay with that. And with what I'm working on, I'm content myself just doing little cameos here and there.
That's kind
Um,
of my thing. I've got a part in my movie where I'm playing the overly generic DJ, Rockin' Ricky. One of those
right,
type deals, and little cameo, a little Hitchcock. I think
right.
I'd probably like to do that in most of my movies, but I just find that there's so many awesome people out there and so many different characters that it's like, if there's a perfect character for me, I'll play it. But most of the characters that I want aren't me. you know, so it's like, yeah, no, you go ahead and do that because I'm not that. So
Yeah, I always tell people drunkenly, if you ever need a bald, bearded, chunky guy, I'm your guy.
right,
They always laugh at that, so I enjoy
yeah.
it. But yeah, like I said, it's great. And do you ever plan to are all your skits up on your YouTube page?
Yeah, it's Spam Chucker's Castle, and then if you just go to playlists, the best of Spam Chucker's Castle. There's a lot of shit on there because I took a lot of Super Friends stuff and voiced over it. GI Joe stuff I voice over. I voice over some old like stop motion bullshit. I've got tons of skits that I've done. I've got fake commercials and fake trailers. Um, just silly bullshit. Meth Squirrel. Um, yeah, there's a whole bunch of shit. There's like 500, 800, I think, almost in my best of.
That's awesome. I'm putting the link in the chat for people to check you out and subscribe to you too. So
Thank you.
yes, absolutely. So with you going into post production then of your Werewolves movie or versus Werewolves for Mars, where do you see it? Do you see it getting released this year? What's your plans for it once you're ready to go?
I'm shooting for somewhere around the first of next year. There's a lot of post and voiceover work and narrators and effects and I'm doing it myself, most of it. Uh, up until if I can't do it, then I'll be handing it off to the experts, and then yeah, just want to make sure everything is dialed in, and ideally, it would be super amazing to have it by like Halloween, but I just don't think that's going to happen.
Do you
Not
have
just yet.
any distribution plans? Try to get on Amazon or Tubi or anything like that?
Yes, Deborah has that side all handled. She got a limited theatrical release for 13 Fanboy, and definitely be on some streaming services for sure.
Awesome,
What
awesome. Yeah,
what those are, I don't know yet, but yeah, she's got some pretty good connects.
sweet. And for anyone who watching now or in the future, make sure to check out your stuff in the links below. Just follow you and make sure I'm excited to see it when it comes out. So you have to definitely keep me
Appreciate it.
posted as well.
Will do.
Awesome. And so time flew by fast. We're end of the show already. Let's get into these wrap up questions for you here. Hardest questions you'll ever have.
All
You
right.
ready? Practical or CGI?
Oh, practical.
Yeah. Yeah. You like I said, this is your guess number 40 and your guess number 40 to say practical.
I cannot stand CGI. Honestly, it's good for some background, like you know, forestry and
hmm
whatever.
Right. If you were given $1 million to make a horror movie in an existing franchise or IP, what would it be?
Which franchise?
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you what, I think, due to the fact that I love Friday the 13th and all that, I really want to say that, but I think one that deserves a proper, not reboot, but a proper sequel to the original is My Bloody Valentine.
Yes.
I think that would make a right proper remake. Not a remake, a sequel.
A
Because we had the
sequel.
remake, which I still enjoyed, but
Yes.
I would like a sequel to the original. I just think that would be. I don't know why they never did that. They could have had 6 or 7 Harry Warden movies,
Yeah.
and for whatever reason, they didn't do it.
Maybe it could have been My Bloodier Valentine.
There was a few of those kind of underrated. I loved Funhouse, Terror Train.
Yes.
Uh,
Terror Train's getting remade or got remade.
yeah, and it was kind of cool
Yeah.
because I think they just handed them the same script and they did it shot for shot, word for word, same character name, same everything. I mean, it was literally, which isn't done that often, and yeah, that was kind of neat. But it's really hard to beat Jamie Lee Curtis, David Copperfield,
Right.
and the asshole guy from Die Hard.
All right. So, Troy, any advice for anyone getting into the filmmaking industry?
Uh, do it because you love it, not because you want to be the next Spielberg or some superstar. If you really love doing it, just do it. And if you feel silly doing it, who gives a shit? You have to adopt the zero fucks attitude and just
Right.
do it for yourself to have fun. And eventually, if you're having fun doing it, people will see you're having fun doing it, and hopefully they'll have fun because you're doing it. And you can achieve whatever you're, on some level you can achieve anything in your life. Whether it's uh, small or large. Just do it. Do it. Don't think about, or you don't give a shit about what anybody says. Just do it, and do it because you love doing it. Have fun doing it, and the rest will fall into place if it does.
Yes. All right. So, you ready for your random horror trivia question?
Yes.
These are probably going to be very easy for you at this point in time with what we discussed. But what 1981 film is about a group of teenage friends trapped in a carnival funhouse with a freakish maniac?
Ha 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 ha
That's a
ha.
top card.
Funhouse. I actually
Yes.
really that's I always love that movie.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Berridge. I think what's her name, the main star of that one.
Oh, I don't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, that's definitely on our list for other show that we do to review for a podcast. So I'm excited. All right, so Troy, before we go and sign off for tonight, where can people find you and follow you and learn all about your upcoming works?
Well, I do have an IMDb page, which is just my name, Troy Oelke, Oelke, which is also the same at Facebook, uh, if you like shenanigans and such. Um, that's pretty much it between and the Spam Chuckers Castle on YouTube, which is also a bunch of goofy bullshit for you window lickers.
There you go. All right, thank you, Troy, for joining us tonight. And always, I'm Graveyard. Make sure to follow us and everything we do at Pod Out at Night. All social media, we will be posting up and coming things. Like I said, we have new merch coming soon with parodies of all things. I'm excited for everyone to see that. So thank you,
Thanks for
Troy,
having
again
me.
for coming on. We'll see you next time. And don't get lost in the void. Good night.